Hi, welcome back to The Coach. I'm Bob Schuster, and I am the coach. Thank you for joining me. In the next few minutes, I'm going to try and share something with you that wasn't shared with me for so long. And that's what I feel is wisdom. When I grew up in a very impoverished family in northeastern Wisconsin, the oldest child of 6. And 4 of us boys shared 1 bedroom and 2 bunk beds. It was a little logging farming town, a little bit less than 500 folks. And what we learned there was survival. There was no thought about succeeding in business because very few people had one. If they were farmers or loggers or had a little grocery store in town or a tavern, and there were a lot of taverns in this little town, they just wanted to get by. So survival is what I concentrated on all the while I was there. But the thing that I was missing, it wasn't so much about the powdered eggs or 1 pound of hamburger for 8 of us. That isn't what was the impoverished part. I didn't realize until many years later. And I'm sure a lot of people, maybe even you, didn't come from wealth, great upbringing, fantastic schools. It isn't the money that your family has. It isn't the job or the profession your father might have. Because there are a lot of people who have done very well over the centuries that did not have a great mentor, coach, counselor. Now, some have. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, a number of folks have had great background. And others that Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy. Oh, and by the way, Jesus Christ. Now, he didn't come from a lot of money. And his father wasn't all that well-heeled or well-educated. He was a carpenter. But in spite of it, look what happened. Now, I'm not here to give Bible studies, but that I think is a pretty good example of what could happen. Now, he had, I got to admit, a little bit going for him. That maybe we don't, but we don't know who's in our corner always. We don't know. The most important thing I missed was wisdom. There wasn't a book in my house, a magazine, a newspaper. No radio or TV. My father didn't own a car till I was a senior in high school. He had no knowledge of the outside world. We didn't even know there were other cultural differences until I worked my way through college and then in the Marine Corps as an officer. I became exposed to the other world. It was the lack of wisdom, not money. They had nothing to share outside of what they knew about surviving. And I'm sorry to say, so many people in today's business, guess why? Maybe 50% of all the small businesses that start don't succeed. And many of those that are considered successes are still just getting by. Biggest reason, lack of wisdom. They have had no one or no, I mean, you don't have to have somebody talking. You can get wisdom from a lot of different sources if you trust them. From a book, from a seminar, from a CD or DVD or MP, whatever that was. All right, not all that techy. As long as you trust the source, you need wisdom. And that's what I always try to do, whether I'm speaking to one person over a cup of coffee or a large group, is to impart some wisdom, something that could benefit their life. I'm not about hype. I'm not about selling something. That's not my function. I have, over the last 40 years of business experience and business research and business reading, I'm constantly updating myself. But during those 40 years, I've been on the ground. I know what it's like to start a business and fail, to start a business and just sputter along. I know what it's like to do pretty doggone good. I could have done fantastic if I'd had a little bit more wisdom. Now, it was probably out there, but I was too bullheaded to look. In fact, there's some people like me who for years thought, well, by golly, what do I need to know? I've been in the Marine Corps. I've been to college. For years, I didn't even have a library book. Or a library card, I should say. Now I'm an avid reader and have been for years. There is so much wisdom that can be gained. And I hope that when we get a chance to meet, maybe you're going to join myself and a couple of others for an immersion course that I've got started here in a few weeks. You'll learn more about it in my emails and blogs. But I'm not here to sell that. I'm just here to say there is wisdom out there, and that is what most people are lacking. Not energy, not drive, not dreams. I mean, you don't start a business to fail. You had a dream. What happened? And 90% of the time, my experience has been with working with hundreds of people. It's a lack of just one little grain of wisdom that would have made all the difference. But we have to seek. Well, there's a pretty good book written that meant something about asking, seeking, and knocking. We've got to do that. The wisdom is there. Go look for it, because it is the difference between success and failure. Getting it from a trustworthy source. And for me, it's generally somebody who has been there and done it, not just read about it. So for today, thank you for joining me. And my only hope is that you got something out of these few minutes with me that can be of benefit. God bless.